We are going to start our new topic, which is poetry as a form of art. So, according to Hudson, indeed, as may be frankly said, we touch upon a question concerning which there has been much controversy. For many critics have categorically denied that poetry has acknowledged anything to do with form. So, according to many critics, or mainly the romantic critics, or writers, or poets, poetry has nothing to do with form. And so Philip Sidney, while he acknowledged that the greatest part of poets have apparelled their poetic invention in that numerous kind of writing which is called verse, so maintains that verse is apparel only. So what does it means? That verse is only ornament, being but an ornament and no cause to poetry. Sith there hath been many more excellent poet that has never versified. So they are the Hudson explained here that there are many critics who believe that we need not to define poetry with any particular form. We can write poetry without form. So maintain that verse is apparel only. So verse is only an ornament, only a dress up for writing poetry. But what we have, and now swam many versified that need never answer to the name of poets. Bacon took the same ground when he stated that the feigning which was for him peculiar function of poetry may be as well as in prose as well as in verse. Coleridge too emphatically declared that poetry on the highest kind may exist without meter. So Coleridge, being romantic poet or romantic writer, declare that poetry may exist without, or poetry can exist without meter, and cited the writings of Plato and Jeremiah Taylor and even Bernard's theory of the earth as undeniable proof of his assertions. So he has given many examples, and we have made example of Plato and Jeremiah and Taylors and many other writers. And in the theory of earth has we get the assertions and proofs about this statement, these sort of statements. In these and in other similar cases, as in some of the definitions which may have quoted, the poetical qualities of thoughts and manners are emphasized to the exclusion of all consideration of poetry as a specific kind of art. So what we have understood by reading many definitions of poetry, we understood that that poetry has a has most of the time has do with thoughts and manners, and it considered poetry as specific kind of art. But for the other side, now we come to the other people, that what the other side said, the reply has come that whatever else poetry may or may not involve, the employment of a systematically rhythmic language is one of its necessary condition. Like rhythm and rhythmic language, meters and rhyming scheme is necessary for writing poetry. So this is the other side of reading poetry or writing poetry. So what we understood, that some critic believe that reading poetry is a form of art, and some believe that poetry is that we need for poetry in the form of meter or in the form of rhythmic language. It has contended by some writer, Leigh Hunt, that poetry need not to be writing in verse all, that prose is as good as a medium provided poetry be conveyed through it, and that to think otherwise is to confound later with spirit or form with essence. But in opinion is a prosaic mistake. Fitness or with unfitness for song or metrical excitement make all the difference between a poetical and prosical subject. And the reason why verse is necessary to the form of poetry is that the perfection of the poetical spirit demanded that the circle of its enthusiasm, beauty, and power is incomplete without it. So here we got the definition from Leigh Hunt, and very vast explanation by Leigh Hunt, that poetry can take prose as the medium to define itself. And there is a huge difference between the poetical and the prosical writing. So because in the poetry we need meters, rhyming scheme, rhythm, and in the prose we need not, we just need words, and in the similar form which is incomplete. So the power and the beauty of poetry is depend on the poetical spirit of demand, that the circle of the enthusiasm, beauty and power is incomplete without it. So poetry is that perfection of the poetical power. So this undoubtedly overstated the case for form, since the writer appeared to ignore the fact that the truth spirit of poetry has often been expressed, and very adequately expressed, without recourse the medium of words. So the difference in question, as I understood, means Hudson understand, it is not necessarily between a poetical and a prosical subject, but between the form in which perhaps the same subject may be handled. So according to Hudson, there is there is no necessary, it is not necessary that we always go with the form, or it is not necessary that we always go with the thought and the manner. It depends on the subject matter, that in which form we are going to explain, in which way we are going to explain the poetic and poetical form. If poetry, then as regard its substance and then spirit, it is the antithesis of science or matter, or the fact of it, as Wordsworth and Coleridge rightly insist. It is nonetheless we to be distinguished from prose as regards its form by the systematically rhythmic character of its language. So again, sometimes it talks about rhythmic language, sometimes it talks about without rhyming scheme, or without proper rhythm or rhyme. So this view received important support, that one great critics who on general principle might rather have been expected to oppose it. Carlyle thought of the poet always as the seer, and many of his own pages might be addressed as splendid explain of poetry in prose. Yes, his distinguished says, for my own part, I find considerably meaning in the old vulgar distinction of the poetry being metrical, having music in it. So according to the Carlyle, should be some song, some music, or some rhyming scheme should be there, or the metrical composition is required while writing poetry. Though he characteristically adds that there is much in the form of poetry which was under as inwardly in necessity is to be part of the form at all, and has for better therefore have been in plain prose. Thus also Matthew Arnold, despite has reoccupation with the idea of poetry as a criticism of life, has lays stress upon the essential difference between imaginative productions in verse and imagination production in prose. So the rhythm and measure of poetry, he maintains, elevate as a regularly, certainly, and for very different form, that of the rhythmic and measure, which can provide prose as a part of the perfection. So he said that Matthew Arnold, according to Matthew Arnold, it elevates the certainty and regularity and the form, rhythm and measurement of the writing prose. So when we put all the rhythm and rhyming scheme, or metrical composition in the form of verse, so then it elevates itself to the level of poetry. So he defined poetry as a criticism of life. So this is what Matthew Arnold defined. Why? Because poetry defined life within itself. So According to him, he is the writer of classical age. He is the writer of classical school of thought. So he, according to Matthew Arnold, Matthew Arnold poetry is the criticism of life. So this is up to so far. We will discuss or continue the topic in the next video. Till then, take care. We will start with the new topic, or we may start with the same topic in the next video.